You see, the problem started on January 15th, 1966, when some young officers went out to assassinate the older leaders of this country because they felt they were not doing enough for the country. The economy was bad and they wanted a better Nigeria. So they wipe out the old men and look out for someone else to put into power. And that person was Aguiyi-Ironsi. He was the chosen one. He was elected as the next head of state. But 6 months later, Aguiyi-Ironsi was assassinated by some young officers who claimed that he was an Igbo man. He wasn't doing well for the country and the economy was bad. They cleared Aguiyi-Ironsi out. So, Yakubu Gowon became the head of state in 1966 after Aguiyi-Ironsi with the hope that he was going to restructure the economy. And about 8 years after, in 1975, nothing changed. The economy seems worse and it looked like Gowon has failed. So he was forcefully removed and Muritala Muhammad became the head of state in 1975 after Gowon. So when Muritala came, it seems as if he was the chosen one also. He was going to renew the hope of Nigerians. But barely 6 months after, Muritala was also assassinated by some officers who felt that he was arrogant and he wasn't doing well for the country. The economy was bad and so they cleared Muritala out of the way. So, Olusegun Obasanjo became head of state in 1976 after Muritala with the hope that he was going to be a savior. But 3 years after, in 1979, the economy was still bad and he handed over to the civilian government under Shehu Shagari. You see, at that point in 1979, Nigerians were most likely happy that government is now in the hands of the people. Therefore, the economy should be better. But you see, during the 4 years of Shagari's tenure, things got miserable. The economy became worse than ever and it seems as if Shagari has also failed. So they cleared him out after his 4 years tenure and Muhammadu Buhari took over power in 1983. Though he was slow to progress, but he was likely going to progress in the end. He was a go-slow man. But barely 2 years into his tenure, he was forcefully removed also, as it seems the economy was still bad. Nothing was improving. So Ibrahim Babangida became the head of state in 1985 after Muhammadu Buhari with the promise that he was going to save the country from sinking. But guess what? 8 years after his tenure, his government was nothing to write home about. It seems the economy went from fry pan to fire. And at that point in 1993, Nigerians were demanding power for the people. They wanted to switch from military to democratic government. From the look of things, MKO Abiola promised to be the one who was going to change the situation in the country at the time. But in between, Abacha took over power in 1993. And 5 years into his tenure, Abacha died. And he left behind an economy that was struggling to balance. The economy was still bad. It was still very, very bad when Abdulsalam took over power and spent 6 months in office before handing over to Obasanjo. Obasanjo came in, spent 8 years, and the economy was still struggling until his tenure ended in 2007. Then Musa Yar'Adua came to power. You see, when Yar'Adua came to power, he was this close to making a better Nigeria when he died suddenly in office in 2010. Goodluck Jonathan took over from Yar'Adua. He did his best, and by the end of his tenure, it seems as if his best was not enough. So he was forcefully kicked out. Then Muhammadu Buhari came in and spent 8 years and also left the economy in shambles. Come on, you know what happened at the end of Buhari's tenure? Nigerians went through hell on earth. Things were super difficult for Nigerians towards the end of Buhari's tenure. The economy was as if a sewing thread tangled together in multiple times. In fact, 1,000 more times before handing over to Jagaban in 2023. Bola Ahmed Tinubu took over as the president ever since up to this moment. And in the space of 2 years, a lot has happened. A lot is still happening and a lot more are still going to happen. The country seems to be in a mess. The economy is way below terrible. It's hard to thrive as a person. It is more difficult to survive as a group. You see, from my own point of view, there was never a time that the country was good. Honestly, because the struggle has been since way back, regardless of the comparison. So many things that you might think were cheap back in the days, even as at then, a lot of people could not afford them. The same thing we are going through now. A regular car was sold for around 400 naira about 40 years ago. Still, a lot of people were not able to afford it. 400 naira of today cannot even buy you half bag of pure water. It is crazy indeed. You see, the country is going down the drain, and it seems our leaders are not doing anything to bring it back. But you see, if the going gets tougher, we as human, we get tougher also.